Sara Errani is a professional tennis player from Italy. She is the Italian number 2. As of July 7, 2014, she is ranked world number 14 in singles and world number 1 in doubles. She has won 7 career singles titles, and 23 career doubles titles, including 5 Grand Slam championships and 3 Premier Mandatory Premier 5 titles. Errani's breakthrough season occurred in 2012. At the Australian Open, she reached the quarterfinals in singles and was a finalist in doubles. Known as a clay court specialist, Errani won 3 titles on clay going into the 2012 French Open, where she reached the finals in both the singles and doubles tournaments, winning the doubles title with her partner Roberta Vinci. They also won the doubles titles at the 2012 US Open, and the 2013 and 2014 Australian Open. By winning the 2014 Wimbledon women's doubles title together, she and Vinci became only the 5th pair in tennis history to complete a career Grand Slam. Her achievement in reaching the 2012 US Open singles semi-finals leaves Wimbledon as the only Grand Slam tournament in which Errani has yet to make the quarter-finals in singles. Career, early life and junior career. Errani was born in Bologna, Emilia-Romagna, Italy to Giorgio, a fruit and vegetable seller, and Fulvia, a pharmacist. At the age of 12, her father sent her to the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy in Florida. At 16, she moved to Valencia, Spain, to be coached by Pablo Lozano and David Andres. Errani competed in her first event at the $10,000 Cagliari event in her native Italy in 2002, where she lost to Sun Tianchen. She continued to compete in the ITF, where her best performance of the year was a semi-final appearance in Seton. She continued to participate mainly on the ITF circuit, where she won her first tournament over Lucia Jimenez in Melilla, Spain in 2005. 2008 to Euro 2011. The first WTA title of her career was in the Indonesian Elif Feminilai di Palermo, where she defeated Maria Karatsev. On July 27, 2008, she captured her second career title in 2 weeks, defeating Annabel Medina Garrix. She has also won 6 doubles WTA titles. In 2009, Errani was the runner-up at 2 WTA tournaments, in Palermo and Portoro with 3/4, as the defending champion in both. Errani was defeated in the first round of the 2009 French Open by defending champion Ana Ivanovic, whom she would beat in the third round 3 years later. Errani reached the third round in every Grand Slam except the French Open in 2010, where she lost in the first round. At the 2010 US Open, she upset Elisa Klibanova in the second round, before losing to eventual quarter-finalist Samantha Stosur in the third round. Errani was a member of Fed Cup winning Italian team in 2009 and 2010. In February 2011, she reached the final of the PTT Pattaya Open, where she was defeated by Daniela Hantuchova. 2012 breakthrough. At the beginning of 2012, Errani decided to change her racket, switching from Wilson to Babolat, opting for a heavier and slightly longer model than the last, allowing for more power and better reach. This change caused her to return her $30,000 endorsement fee to Wilson. However, she and several commentators cite the new racket as a reason for her improved game and her entry into the top 10 of the WTA rankings. In the first 5 months of 2012, she won 3 singles titles, earning over $1.3 million in prize money. Errani herself dubbed her new racket Excalibur, named after the sword of King Arthur. At the 2012 Australian Open, Errani advanced to her first Grand Slam quarterfinal, defeating Nadia Petrova, Sorana Carr registered trademark RSTEA, and Jai Zheng en route, before losing to Petra Kvitova. Her ranking jumped to world number 33, a career best. At the Abierto Monterrey Open, she was the second seed and reached the semi-finals, losing to eventual champion Tarmay Babos, but she triumphed on the clay in Acapulco as the third seed, winning her third career title. She defeated fellow Italians Roberta Vinci, and second seed Flavia Pennetta in her last 2 matches. Errani fell in the opening round of Indian Wells to Vania King, and in the second round of the 2012 Sony Ericsson Open against Sloane Stephens. As the 7th seed at the Barcelona Ladies Open, Errani stormed to her 4th career title and 2nd of the year, not dropping a set, beating 2nd-seeded Julia Gar-Rges in the quarterfinals, Carla Suarez Navarro in the semifinals, and Dominika Cibulkova in the final. Afterwards, her ranking rose to world number 28. In the Fed Cup semifinals against the Czech Republic, Errani lost to Petra Kvitova, but beat Andrea Lava-Kova, with Italy losing the tie. On May 7, 2012, Errani won the 2012 Budapest Grand Prix, tying countrywoman Roberta Vinci for the most titles won by an Italian female in a year at 3. Her performance continued to improve when she reached the finals of the 2012 French Open. En route she defeated Casey Dell'Equa, Melanie Oudin, and 2008 and 2009 French Open winners Ana Ivanovic and Svetlana Kostova, respectively. She secured a place in the semi-finals by eliminating the German 10th seed Angelique Kerber, her first win over a current top 10 player. In the semi-finals, she overcame the reigning U.S. Open champion and 2010 French Open finalist Samantha Stosur to reach her first Grand Slam singles final opposite Maria Sharapova. Errani lost in the final. However, her progress in this tournament helped her achieve the number 10 ranking. In addition to her singles wins, Errani also won 6 doubles titles with Roberta Vinci, including the 2012 Mutua Madrid Open, the 2012 Internazionale Biennale d'Italia, and the 2012 French Open. She and Vinci also made the finals of the 2012 Sony Ericsson Open and the 2012 Australian Open. At Wimbledon, Errani lost in the third round to Yaroslava Shvedova, suffering the humiliating loss of the first golden set in the women's tennis Open era, and second ever recorded. In the month of July, at the Italiacom Open 2012, Errani, without losing a set, won her 4th title of the year, the 6th in her career. She defeated the Czech Barbora Zaleva-Vystrel-1/2 in the final. Errani then lost in the first round of the singles competition at the 2012 Summer Olympic Games in London. She then played the 2012 Rogers Cup, where she lost in the third round to eventual finalist Li Na. She then lost to Venus Williams in the third round of the Western and Southern Open. She then played the New Haven Open as the 4th seed. She reached the semi-finals by beating 5th seed Marion Bartoli. She lost in the semi-finals to Petra Kvitova. At the US Open, Errani had a slow start by beating Garbia +or- Muguruza Blanco in 3 sets. However, she easily defeated the Russians Vera Dushevina and Olga Pushkova. She lost only 3 games in these 2 rounds. In the 4th round, she defeated 6th seed, Angelique Kerber. In the quarterfinals, she defeated her doubles partner, Roberta Vinci, to come into the semi-finals, where she lost in straight sets to eventual champion Serena Williams. With this result, she is the first Italian woman in the Open era to reach the semi-finals of the US Open, and the first Italian woman ever to come at least into semi-finals of 2 different majors. Errani partnered again with Vinci for the US Open. They were seeded second, behind the defending champions Liesl Huber and Lisa Raymond. Errani and Vinci won the US Open women's doubles final. As a result, she reached a number 1 spot on September 10, 2012. At the end of the year she took part in the WTA Tour Championships for the first time in her career. Here, she was defeated in straight sets by Maria Sharapova, but she beat Samantha Stosur in the following match. She lost to 4th seed Anska Radwanska in a match lasting 3 hours and 29 minutes. With that loss, Errani did not advance beyond the round-robin stage. She finished her breakthrough year as number 6 in the world in WTA singles rankings. 2013, continued success, Errani started the year in the premier event in Brisbane. In the first round, she defeated a qualifier, Olga Pushkova of Russia. She then lost to Daniela Hantuchova. Errani had better results at Sydney, where she beat Maria Kirilenko, the 14th seed, in 2 sets en route to the quarterfinals. However, she lost to eventual finalist, Dominika Cibulkova, the 15th seed, easily. She was the 7th seed at the Australian Open, where she had reached the quarterfinals in 2012. However, she was defeated by Carla Suarez Navarro in the first round. In the doubles tournament, Errani, partnering with Vinci, won her third Grand Slam title, beating Australian wildcards Ashley Barty and Casey Dell'Acqua in the final. She reached the final of the Open GDF Suez in Paris, losing to Mona Buthell. At the Qatar Ladies Open, she reached a quarterfinals, but she lost to Victoria Azarenka in straight sets. However, she won her third doubles title of the year, with Vinci, beating Petrova and Srebotnik in the final. 1 week later, she came into the semi-finals of the Dubai Tennis Championship, beating Nadia Petrova in 3 sets. Here, she defeated her doubles partner Roberta Vinci, reaching her second singles final of the year where she lost to Petra Kvitova in 3 sets. At the Abierto Mexicano Telcel, Errani reached her third final of the year facing Carla Suarez Navarro. She won the final in 2 sets, her 7th singles title. Her next tournament was Indian Wells, where she was seeded 6th and reached a quarterfinals, where she lost to the eventual champion Maria Sharapova in straight sets. The following week, she played in Miami, where she was the 8th seed. She received a bye into the second round, and then she defeated Daniela Hantuchova and Simona Halep easily. In the 4th round, she faced Ana Ivanovic and beat her, reaching her second Premier Mandatories quarter-final in a row against Maria Sharapova, but for the 4th time in a row, she lost to the Russian in straight sets. In the first week of May, her next tournament was the Mutua Madrid Open, where, defeating Ursula Radwanska, Sorana Kar registered trademark RSTEA, Varvara Lepchenko, and Ekaterina Makarova, she reached the semi-final, her first in a WTA Premier Mandatory, where she was beaten by Serena Williams in straight sets. She reached the semi-final at Internazionale BNL d'Italia, where she was defeated by Victoria Azarenka. As 5th seed, she played at 2013 French Open and, trying to defend the final of the last year. She defeated Aranchks Rus, Yulia Putintseva, and Sabine Lisicki to reach the 4th round, where she struggled to upset the Spanish Carla Suarez Navarro. In the quarterfinal, Errani beat the 4th seed Anska Radwanska, her first win over a current top 5 player. However, in the semi-final, she lost to a perfect Serena Williams in straight sets. In doubles, with Roberta Vinci, she reached her 5th Grand Slam final, but they lost to the Russian team of Ekaterina Makarova and Elena Vesnina. She was defeated by Monica Puig in straight sets in the first round of Wimbledon 2013, despite being seeded 5th. She reached a final in Palermo, where she was defeated by Roberta Vinci. Then she played in Rogers Cup as 5th seed, and for the first time, she reached a quarterfinals, where she was defeated by 3rd seed Anska Radwanska. In Cincinnati she lost in the 3rd round to Roberta Vinci again, while at the US Open she suffered a tough loss in the 2nd round to Flavia Pennetta, eventual semi-finalist. In the doubles, as defending champion, she lost in the quarterfinals to Williams sisters. In Tokyo, at the Toray Pan Pacific Open, Errani was eliminated in straight sets by Svetlana Kostova, while at the China Open she defeated Kirsten Flipkens and Misaki Doi, before losing to Petra Kvitova in 3 sets. She was the 6th player qualified for the 2013 WTA Tour Championships for the 2nd consecutive time. There, she was defeated by Victoria Azarenka in straight sets, after leading 5-2 and 6-5 in the first set and after having a calf injury. Then she was defeated by Li Na in 2 sets, after saving 3 match points, one of those when she was 3-5 down. Out of the semi-finals, she defeated for the first time the former world N1 Jelena Jankovic in straight sets. 2014, falling out of top 10, career Grand Slam in doubles, Errani began her season at the 2014 Shenzhen Open, where she fell in the 2nd round to American Vania King. She then traveled to Australia to compete in the Sydney International, where she reached a quarter-finals in singles, and was a finalist in doubles with Roberta Vinci, losing to Tamia Babos and Lucy Angstrom afar so unregistered trademark over. At the 2014 Australian Open, she lost her opening match against Julia Gewürzes of Germany. However, the doubles was completely different, as she and Vinci successfully defended their title, defeating first-time Australian Open finalists Ekaterina Makarova and Elena Vesnina of Russia in 3 sets to claim their 4th Grand Slam title. The following week she managed to defend the final at the Open GDF Suez in Paris by beating Eliza Cornet, but she lost to Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in 3 sets after winning the first and having a break either in the second or in the third ones. At the Qatar Ladies Open she reached the quarterfinals, losing easily to the eventual champion Simona Halep. 1 week later in Dubai Tennis Championship, she lost in the second round to Sara Errani for the first time in her career, after always defeating her in the previous 5 meetings. In March, her next tournaments were Indian Wells and Miami, in which she lost in the third round respectively to Eugenie Bouchard and Ekaterina Makarova. Because of the loss to the Russian in Miami, she left the top 10 rankings after 94 weeks from June 2012, letting the Slovakian Dominika Cibulkova enter in the top 10 for the first season in her career. In April, she played in Charleston and she reached the quarterfinals, where she was upset by the young Swiss player Belinda Bencic, wasting an opportunity to enter in the top 10 rankings again. Then, she played a good tournament at Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, by beating in a row Clara Kaukalova, Karakanpi and Carla Suarez Navarro and by advancing to the semi-finals for the first time here, where she lost to the eventual champion Maria Sharapova in straight sets. In the doubles, she won the title, partnering with compatriot and friend Roberta Vinci, after beating Cara Black and Sanyamsa. Her next tournament was Mutua Madrid Open, where she beat former top 10 players such like Andrea Petkovic and compatriot Francesca Iavone, both in straight sets, but she was upset by the French Caroline Garcia in the third round. She won her 3rd doubles title of this season in Madrid, defeating the Spanish pair Garbine Muguruza and Carla Suarez Navarro. 1 week later, she played amazingly at Internazionale Biennale d'Italia, defeating Chanel Shipas, Ekaterina Makarova, Petra Sitkovska, upsetting world N2 Li Na in 3 sets for the first time in her career, after losing the previous 6 meeting against the Chinese player and beating So a top 3 player for the first time in her career. She reached the final, after beating in straight sets world number 8 and former world number 1 Jelena Jankovic, but she was defeated by Serena Williams, also penalized by a thigh injury, which forced her to retire in the doubles final after losing 4 games against Sputnik and Sechk. As the 10th seed, she played at 2014 French Open. She beat Madison Keys in 3 sets, Dina Fiesenmeyer and Julia Glushko in straight sets. Then, in the 4th round she ousted 7th seed from Serbia Jelena Jankovic, reaching here her 3rd straight quarter-final, where she fell quite surprisingly to the German Andrea Petkovic, who beat her in straight sets. In the doubles, she played alongside Roberta Vinci. They reached their 3rd consecutive final, falling to Asian pair Xie Su-wei and Xi Peng in straight sets. After losing to Caroline Garcia of France in the first round of Wimbledon in the singles, Errani had a career-best performance in the women's doubles, as her and Vinci won the tournament to complete a career Grand Slam. They beat Hungary's Timea Babos and Kristina Mladenovic of France 6-1 6-3 in 56 minutes. Upon reaching the final, Errani and Vinci reclaimed the number 1 ranking in women's doubles, after having relinquished the ranking in February to Peng Shuai of China. Errani is currently competing at the 2014 Gastein Ladies in Bad Gastein where she is the 2nd seed. Playing style: during the 2012 season, Errani became known for producing a high first serve percentage. Having won multiple titles on clay, she is widely recognized as a clay court specialist, and is renowned for her use of strategy on the surface including her tendency to position herself well, and to return serves early. Being a doubles specialist as well, she is noted for her speed around the court, and for hitting the ball with a lot of spin, as well as for her deep and loopy ground strokes. Grand Slam Finals, Singles, 1, Doubles, 8, Career Statistics and Performance Timeline. Key, 1 Tournament. Or reached final. Semi-final. Quarterfinal. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. Or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. Singles, women's doubles, see also, tennis in Italy, references. External links, Sara Errani at the Women's Tennis Association, Sara Errani at the International Tennis Federation, Sara Errani at the Fed Cup.